Alright, I'm Yusuf for Video Game Plot Summaries, and let's continue our Tenchu 3 summary with Ayame's story. Ayame is sent into the bamboo forest by Lord Goda because daughters of people that are overdue on loans have been kidnapped and taken to the temple that is hidden there. When she gets to the temple, she hears a sexual conversation and busts in there to find two people playing cards. The girl takes her opportunity to get the heck out of that situation, and the man says her family owes Echigoya. So with that slip of the tongue, he knows that he has to kill Ayame. That's okay, she was planning on killing him anyway. Knowing that the Echigoya name uttered by Tajima must be Takube Echigoya, Ayame runs straight to his estate. When she finds him, he is showing off the Jewel of the Earth to Natsu, an official of the shogunate. Takube says that there are two other jewels, and whoever has them will possess unlimited power. Just as he is trying to broker a deal to get all three jewels for Natsu, Ayame busts in and gives a good cop speech listing out all the law violations that Takube is going to die for. Takube calls in the guards and they get handled like cattle. Oh, there's still two left. There's still one left. Oh, no more guards. Dope. Takube runs like a bitch, but Natsu sticks around. After killing Natsu, Ayame runs after Takube only to find his head missing and the Jewel of the Earth taken. Somewhere in the dark, a man, pleased that he got the Jewel of the Earth, plots to acquire the Jewel of Virtue from Lord Goda. Speaking of which, Lord Goda receives Ayame's report and just tells her to forget anything ever happened. 2 months later, one of Goda's officials, Hamada, flips on him and holds him hostage while demanding the Jewel of Virtue be brought to him. At the same time, a ninja army shows up. Ayame cuts through the army and dupes Hamada into letting go of Lord Goda. Then, of course, she assassinates him. When he dies, a projection rises out of him named Tenrai. He was controlling Hamada all along. He vows to take all the jewels for himself, then disappears. Lord Goda is afraid of Tenrai's spiritual magic, so he sends Ayame to a cemetery to get some spirit-stealing blades named the Yodo swords. YOLO swords, right? Then she goes to kill a samurai named Tado Koro because he has info on the third jewel, the Jewel of Heaven, and he's gathering forces to fight Lord Goda. Dang, is this normal Japan? It seems that Lord Goda is a pretty good guy, but you would never know because he's always defending his dang castle and family. He has one daughter that has been kidnapped 3 times, his castle has been invaded 3 times, twice because of an inside traitor. The castle was set on fire and attacked with huge cannons, and Lord Goda himself has had to defend his life alone numerous times. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised he even needed Ayame's help to free him from Hamada. He didn't even flinch when Ayame threw that knife. Anyway, Ayame catches up to Tado Koro and he commits suicide immediately. His daughter sees everything and tries to fight Ayame. Unlike Rikimaru, Ayame explains to her that she doesn't have a man holding her down and telling her what to do. She's free now, so she could stop living by swinging those swords around. She responds in kind by telling Ayame about a deserted temple rumored to have the Jewel of Heaven hidden there. Unbeknownst to her, Tenrai just sent some ninja that way also. Ayame gets to the jewel first, but quickly finds out it's a fake when a samurai named Janai slices it in half. He says he's one of Tenrai's 6 Lords of Darkness, and he is there to kill Ayame. Janai seems to get the upper hand when he is stopped by a kunai knife, so he leaves? Later in the darkness lair, Janai asks another lord, "Why did you stop me?" The other lord said that Ayame is his to kill alone. 2 months pass and no one can find the Jewel of Heaven, but eventually it is rumored that the sage named Zenosuke knows, so everyone heads that way to get to him first. When Ayame gets there, she sees Zenosuke has been killed already. There's a man still there, and they fight. But it was a big misunderstanding because the assassin actually works for Zenosuke. He surmises by her fighting style that she must be Azuma ninja and states that he promised Zenosuke that he wouldn't ever fight an Azuma. So that's the end of that. A dead guy, a loose assassin, and no answers. Ayame starts to leave when Rikimaru shows up. He gets a little close for Ayame, so she swipes left on him. Get it? It's a Tinder joke. Waka waka waka. Anyway, after getting swung on, Rikimaru staggers back clumsily, and that is all Ayame needs to know that it is not Rikimaru. They fight, and it indeed was one of the 6 Lords of Darkness. Before she can say a catchy one-liner, Ayame gets hit with a tranquilizer dart. It's another one of the 6 Lords of Darkness, Dr. Kimaira. And Tenchu witnesses everything and follows them back to Tenrai's fortress. He kills the man guarding the prison when he finds out Ayame just about freed herself anyway. He then tells her that there's a Buddhist temple with a statue and the missing jewel might be in the eye. Well, Dr. Kimaira heard the whole thing, and as soon as Tenchu leaves, he makes his big appearance. They fight, and right before he dies, he tells Ayame the place will be filled with poison gas in 20 minutes. And then he professes his love with the puppet he carries on his back. Man, sex dolls back then were a little rough, huh? Anyway, Ayame almost escapes before she runs into another of the 6 lords, Onikage. He jumps to strike Ayame, but the real Rikimaru appears and intercepts. Rikimaru tells Ayame she can go ahead, but she waves him off and deals with Onikage herself. Of course, Onikage loses, and of course he disappears. They should give him some wins to validate his skills or something. Hell, I, as in Yusef, could dance around and throw kicks while ninjas with swords kick my ass. That's not special. From there, Ayame goes to the Buddhist temple and runs into another Lord of Darkness, Ganda. He's so stacked full of muscles, he dies standing up. Ayame gets to the statue and Tatsumaru is already there. He's been brought back to life as another Lord of Darkness. He was the one that stopped Janai from fighting Ayame. Ayame tells Tatsu that he can't just walk away with the jewel, and Tatsu lightning steps and puts his sword up to Ayame's throat. Looks like he will walk away with the jewel pretty easy today. A few days later, Goda finds Tenrai's hideout on an island. There's a tunnel in some limestone caverns that are perfect for a sneak attack. Unfortunately, there are some bad guys living there already. With the home field advantage, the bandits demolish half of Lord Goda's army and take his advisor, Sekiya. So they sent Ayame in, which should have happened in the first place, to clear out the caverns and rescue the advisor. Since it's a pretty big mission, Princess Kiku gives Ayame the Sister's Bells. Ayame has to promise to return them personally. Okay, so in Tenchu 2, Lord Goda's wife was killed, and she gave Ayame some Sister's Bells and made her promise to protect Princess Kiku. She's not doing a very good job at preventative maintenance, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, Ayame frees Sekiya, but he gets killed pretty soon by magic from a Lord of Darkness. Ayame's version of the story didn't name this girl, but in this version, she's got a big-ass wolf, and that's cool as hell. Anyway, they fight, and Ayame ends them both. Azuma ninja, bitch! Afterwards, she returns to Lord Goda and briefs him on the situation. He goes in a room with strategists and comes out with a unique strategy. If you guess the strategy is to send Ayame in by herself to do all the work, you are right. I mean, it's clear at this point why all these people are trying to overthrow Lord Goda. His army fucking sucks. He basically has 2 ninja and a bunch of spies that are good. But how in the hell are you going to lose half your army fighting bandits just to open up a passage to get the element of surprise on a real army? You couldn't even beat some bandits. If the world knew that your empire is only resting on the skills of 2 damn ninja, you would be the biggest joke ever. At this point, there is really only one strategy. Send in your 1 ninja to kill everyone and then clean up with the rest of your army if she fails. But that is not smart, sacrificing your queen chess piece because you lose half your pawns. How many times are you gonna put the queen out there before she gets smoked? Anyway, without so much as a nap, Ayame pulls a double shift and takes the underground passage into Tenrai's lair. Along the way, she runs into Tatsumaru. They fight, and Tatsumaru loses this time. And as he is dying, Onikage shows up ready to finish the job. He can't even strike a fighting stance before he gets stabbed in the back by Tatsumaru. And then Tatsumaru takes both himself and Onikage back to hell. And Tatsumaru was working for the Azuma Ninja the whole time. Why would you bring an Azuma Ninja back to life to fight against Azuma Ninjas anyway? Maybe Tenrai thought that Tatsumaru was still a traitor because of the events in Tenchu 2. At least Tatsumaru had the chance to redeem himself. So Ayame moves to Tenrai's chamber. Tenrai tells Ayame that he's going to use the jewels to revive Lord Mayo and make him a slave? That's the best you could think of? Reviving someone who already lost to the Azuma Ninja? Anyway, they trade death promises and fight. Tenrai gets his butt whipped, so he calls upon the power of the 2 jewels that he has and transforms into something slightly scary. Ayame is paralyzed for a second, but she gets saved by the power of the Sisters' Bells. So, I have to point out here that Tenrai's transformation in Rikimaru's story was like a fiery berserker dude. But in this story, he transforms into a lizardy guy. I do appreciate the effort. So that was a summary, and here's the ending.
It can't be. Not me. I cannot die. Not like this.
I guess that's payback for all the souls you destroyed.
He just disappeared.
Time to get out of this dump.
How many times is he gonna get stabbed?
You'd better stay dead this time, Onikage.
Rikimaru.
Those bells you and Kiku have, they were made from the Jewel of Virtue. This jewel has the power to negate the tremendous potency of the jewels of heaven and earth, should their power be abused.
Okay.
Lord Goda kept the power of the bells a secret. Come on, let's go home.
Okay. Let's go.
What the hell was that about? Left him hanging, man. Couldn't even give him some dap. Okay, so that was the ending and the whole summary of Ayame's story and Tenchu Return from Darkness. I liked it. I mean, I liked it just as much as Ricky Maru's story. I'm actually pretty impressed. Like I said before in Ricky Maru's story, I was disappointed at first that the stories were not a cohesive story like in Tenchu 2. Especially since in Tenchu 1, they just kind of ran everybody's story together the same way. The two players were interchangeable. Here, they have two different personalities and they're continuing the story, but they don't continue it in a way in which you know which one is canon. You know, it's weird. Ricky Maru and Ayame's story, they both are canon to Tenchu 2, but not canon to each other, which makes it really weird. I mean, the sisters' bells are a callback, and in Ricky Maru's story, you know, Onikage and Izayui, the sword and everything, those are all callbacks too. So I really don't know what to think about that. I am glad that the story was good enough. You know, I did enjoy Ayame's story being just her story and not having to link it with Ricky Maru and having them have, you know, feelings and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, it was very weird because once Ayame had finished, like in the ending, once Ayame had finished doing what she had to do and Ricky Maru was about to give her some help, she just jumped up on some feminism shit and walked the fuck away. Didn't even look him in the eye because, you know, there's probably a little sexual tension between those two. I don't know. Ricky Maru is like Kakashi Sensei, you know, from Naruto. Like, you never really see his face except for in Tenchu 2 in the at the end. He he had that old man Ricky Maru voice, but when he took his mask off, it was pretty clear that he was like 16. I wish only to serve Lord Goda. Like, yeah, okay. But yeah, you don't know what kind of relationship they have and stuff, but it was very interesting that he was about to help her up, and then she just stood up and walked away like, we got work to do. Like, she was like one millisecond away from pulling his mask down and jumping on his dick, but then she was like, I gotta get back to work. Having a relationship with Ricky Maru would only complicate things. Or she just got her little feminism thing on, which I often enjoy. The thing that's awesome about Ayame is that she has a feministic ideal when she's like completely surrounded by dudes. You know what I mean? She doesn't get subjugated by them. She gets treated equally. And in the first one, I mean, she had a little bit more sass than Ricky Maru, so it was more fun playing her as a character. She always got those zippy one-liners that be killing a dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, she'll kill the dude, and she'll hit him with a one-liner like she's like 007, you know, Pierce Brosnan style. You know what I'm saying? It be cracking me up, man. She had that this time, but she didn't get that one-liner out since Ricky Maru jumped out there at the last second. Then it was like, I got shit to do, peace. I ain't about to show you these tits. It'll undermine the mutual respect that we've worked together to achieve. Very interesting. Anyway, yeah, so the last and final installment will be Tenchu, and we'll go ahead and do that. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about this story, how it stacks up against Ricky Maru, and also what do you think about the underlying obvious it's underlying but it's obvious, the obvious feministic qualities of Ayame and how she's a strong woman. I mean, she even gave that girl a speech about not being tied down by a man and that she's like him or she's like her. They're like each other. But it was weird because it's like you work for Lord Goda and Rikimaru is like the leader of your clan, right? So you do have a man tying you down. I guess if she didn't have Lord Goda or Rikimaru, she would be fucking what the hell do strong feminists do in like feudal Japan, you know? They run a ramen, like a ramen place and beat the shit out of anybody who comes in. Like, how does that work? I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm totally confused about that. But one thing's for sure, Ayame is a badass, so that's awesome. So leave in the comments, tell me what you think about the feminism that Ayame has. Whether it's cool or if it's put in there nicely or if it's forced or something like that. I'd be interested to know what other people think. All right, y'all. Peace.